It's here. It's finally here. The end of the election is almost here. I know if you are like most people, you're probably so tired of the text and the ads and the notifications from every corner of the political universe. And it's almost done. Hey everyone, Chris Hobart here, the Wealthologist. And I know it's hard to believe election season's just about done. And while we're close to a finish line, that final vote count could take a few more days, especially in those key states. So patience, 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 right? That's the name of the game. So here's the million-dollar question that we hear from a lot of folks. What does the outcome mean for us as investors? You see, the results, whether they're a total blowout or just a close call, could shake things up quite a bit. But that's not a reason for you to act impulsively. So today, I want to dive into a few possible outcomes from both sides and how they might affect the markets and why staying calm and strategic is really the big power move here. So scenario number one, let's say there's a Republican sweep. If Republicans take the White House and control both chambers, expect some moves to extend the 2017 tax cuts. Now, this might include lower corporate tax rates, as well as targeted relief for certain workers. Think about those who rely on tips. Now, that said, unless spending is seriously cut, these tax cuts are likely temporary due to budget rules. So, while there might be talk of cutting green energy subsidies or tackling Medicaid reform, it remains to be seen if there's enough momentum to reverse years of government growth and government spending. Now, if we talk about the trade front, well, higher tariffs, they're likely, especially on China. So keep your eyes open for that. Scenario two, President Harris, GOP Senate, and a Democratic House. So this one might surprise some folks, but if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, but the GOP keeps the Senate, don't be shocked if she too extends the 2017 tax cuts. Just not in the same way, specifically not at the very top. See, we've seen this kind of deal before back in 2012 under President Obama. Extending tax cuts for most Americans while letting top tax rates increase could be a way to avoid raising taxes across the board. Now, what's the flip side? Well, we might see even larger budget deficits for the next 4 years. Now, this is a scenario that could give the bond market some pretty serious jitters. Okay, scenario number three, Trump wins. There's a GOP Senate and a Democratic House. Now, if Trump takes the White House with a split Congress, we'd likely see a similar tax cut extension with some concessions to get Democrats on board. Maybe things like raising the state and local tax deduction cap from $10,000 to, say, $20,000. That could make it a bit easier for some Democrats to support. Now, in this setup, Trump might also revive an old presidential tool called impoundment to reduce spending without Congress. Now, here's the thing. This hasn't been used since Nixon. So this would be a very bold move that could create a little bit of fireworks on Capitol Hill. All right. Final scenario, scenario for a Democratic sweep. So what if we see a blue wave? Well, let's talk about taxes, especially for the wealthy and corporations. We would likely see those go up. Corporate tax rates could increase from 21% to, say, 28%, while the top individual tax rates would likely climb back to 39.6%. Now, there also might be some changes in estate tax deductions and the introduction of a corporate carbon tax. So for investors, this setup could impact portfolios in areas that are sensitive to tax changes as well as regulatory shifts like tech or energy. All right, now we've got all the scenarios on the table, right? Here's what I want you to keep in mind. And this is tough, I'll admit. But no matter the outcome, reacting emotionally or impulsively is typically a recipe for investment mistakes to happen. I get it. Politics and the markets, they are closely tied, and so many of you are passionate about this. But remember that our constitutional system has weathered 235 years and countless elections. Changes can and will happen if people don't like the policies. Now, this isn't the end, and midterm elections are only 2 years away. So whichever party loses this time around might have a solid shot at Congress in 2016. Now, one more thing. The federal budget. And I think this is the more important thing that I really want to focus on right now. It is in unprecedented place right now with record deficits despite really low unemployment and no major wars. Regardless of the election's outcome, addressing this financial challenge, that's got to be top priority for whoever wins. So stay tuned for shifts in that area in the years to come, because that is where our eyes need to be focused right now. To wrap things up, I'm going to encourage you, and I know it's going to be tough, but stay calm, stay informed, and remember that investing is based, investing based upon emotions is not the right way. It's not the wealthologist way, we'll say. But I want to thank you today for joining me, and let's keep a steady hand through whatever comes our way. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please do me a favor, like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you next time, and happy investing.